You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
It got up to like $68,000. My heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
They say we offer simple answers to complex problems. Well, perhaps there is a simple answer. Not an easy answer, but simple.
It's common ground. It's common ground. It's common ground. It's common ground.
We have serious problems to solve, and we need serious people to solve them.
Republicans and Democrats.
All right, folks, well, it's Saturday morning, and it's a couple minutes past the hour, and you know what that means. It means it's time for Finding Common Ground. Now, we haven't been with you live in a couple of weeks in between Bryce having some late-night spring break partying going on and then some internet issues last week, and me having to deal with clearing a whole 2 acres worth of trees. It was a little hectic over here for the last few weeks, but at this point, we are back. We are live. We have lots to talk about because there's been all kinds of issues going on for the last couple of weeks. And I am, of course, joined, as always, by my liberal lefty co-host, Mr. Bryce Robbins, who still, I don't think, has completed his homework assignment I gave him about 3 months ago.
What was that?
Remember the one where I told you to go back to listen to your first few shows with us and your last few shows with us and tell me whether or not you were still truly liberal? You never answered me.
No, I did. I've just...
You didn't want to admit it?
No. I did listen to them. I think I've matured.
Oh, is that your answer for it? It's maturity.
Yes. Yes, it's all maturity.
Watch the maturity go right out the window in 3, 2, 1. How's your boy Bernie?
I hate you. I hate you so much. You're the worst.
Wait. Where did the maturity go?
Where did maturity go? Now I'll just start mocking you. No, okay, Bernie. You know what? When Bernie Sanders ran, he even said in the first place, it wasn't about Bernie Sanders becoming elected. It was about Bernie Sanders making a difference. And whether you like it or not, Bernie has made a difference in the lives of millions of people who care about the political system, and he has sparked the change of the America's political face. In the next election, I highly doubt that we will see a Clinton win. In the next 8 years, we're going to see a Bernie momentum sweep the nation with millennials and young people everywhere who are going to turn to that point of view.
Denial, party of one. Your table's waiting. Denial, party of one.
But it's true. I stand by that.
So first of all, just to clarify, Bernie didn't actually run for election. He was hover-rounding for the election.
What do you mean by that?
As in he had some assistance when he was running? Yeah, nice little hover-around scooter.
I'm so confused.
Okay, so people say running for the election. He's old. He can't run. It was a joke. It went over your head.
But you know what? It says a lot that he's staying in the race, right? He's going to stay in. He's going to go to, California and Indiana.
Because the change that Bernie Sanders is making is he's going all Marcus Aurelius versus Julius Caesar. He's going to stab Hillary in the back for as long as he possibly can.
Well, no, I mean, the point is that he's making the change, that he's getting the message out. What he's saying is that whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, you can agree with what he's saying is a problem. Money in politics is a huge problem. Campaign finance reform, a huge problem.
Says the guy who has the most money of any candidate out there right now and keeps getting in trouble for how he's using it. Just saying.
No. Look at how he raised that money, though. None of it has come from big donations. And the Federal Elections Committee's rule is on how he's spending money. They're pestering him over because he's bringing in so much money from all these small donations. The average donation is $27.
Yeah, I know, because you gave him at least that much.
I gave him $40. Yeah.
Sucker. You know what P.T. Barnum says? There's a sucker born every minute, and mine is one of my co-hosts.
No. I'm getting in touch with the movement because it is true. We live in an industrialized nation that spends trillions of dollars on war, and that's not considered radical. But when some politician says he wants to spend money on healthcare or on school, he's a radical spender, and that's outrageous. I mean, look at the billions of dollars we put into aircrafts and tanks and warships. For example, the USS Zumwalt. It's a $53 billion program. It flips over at when it's hit by a big wave. The F-35 example I always give. It's costed the United States $400 billion and will cost over its lifetime in the next 55 years $1.5 trillion. That's enough to pay for college for everybody for 23 years. I mean, think about all these things that are just... Why is it so radical that we're spending money on why is it so radical to want to spend money on war, on education and healthcare, but it's not radical to do it on war? It makes no sense. And I think the answer is that because education and healthcare for everybody doesn't really make much of a profit. War does.
See, I have a different take on that. And my take with it has been the same argument that I've made all along. The thing about making things like higher education free, think about all the people that have access to this supposed great free education system that we have at the lower levels, and they piss it away. The thing about making things free is they no longer matter to you. When it becomes compulsory and you don't have an option and you don't have a choice and you don't have any say in how you pay for it or anything else, and I understand that from the age of basically 5 to 18, because nobody could afford to pay all the money that we wind up spending to put all these kids through school. But at the same time, look at how many of them don't do anything with it, and then they go on to college and they get dumbass degrees that aren't going to do them any good anyway. I mean, I don't understand the whole mindset anymore of everybody in the country has to go to college. There was a time that we had more than just college education. I mean, I don't know how many people that I talk to on a daily basis when I talk to people that are still doing work like plumbing work and air conditioning work and all the things that still have to get done. And they keep telling me how hard it is to find anybody below the age of 30 that even wants to do those type of things because everybody thinks they have to go to college. We are getting to the point now where the education that we're about to start forcing on everybody isn't going to do anybody any good. We're already getting there now. How many people with bachelor's degrees are flipping burgers right now?
All right. I'm not arguing, though, that trade school isn't important and is being undervalued. I agree. We need to start sending more people to learn trades. There are 5 million jobs that are going to be opening up in the next, I think, 20 years for trade jobs that aren't going to be met because we don't teach people those jobs anymore. So, yeah, I 100% agree. But to say that, oh, well, people are going to devalue education if it's free, so therefore we should leave the system alone, it is not the right argument either. Because, yes, while perhaps we should have a system, and I believe, is that you are paying as you are, receiving grades. So if you're going to get an A, fine, we'll give you a full ride. But this is to state schools, by the way, not to private schools.
Oh, no. Thank you for making that distinction because you'd be surprised how many Bernie supporters didn't actually figure that out.
No, I'm well aware. People think that it's everywhere, some people at least, and it's not. It's the state schools, state universities, state community colleges. Most community colleges are state-run, but some are actually, you'd be surprised, are for-profit. But anyways, the argument here is not that, if you give people assistance, it's going to make them work less. It's that it'll enable them. Now, yes, we can get onto an argument about how welfare doesn't work and how, or at least it's not working because we could see it's actually disincentivizing people to work and more people are joining in it than ever before. That's not the point. My point is different, is that this is an area where we can enable people to grow. We talk about welfare being a spider net, as opposed to a safety net.
I think
I agree with
Spider's web. But yeah.
Spider's web, as opposed to a safety net. And I agree with you in many aspects. I can give an example about how people in my dad's old store used to request either working under the books or working half-time and part-time. He couldn't do that because he wanted full-time employees. If they had worked full-time, they would have lost their benefits. So you're disincentivizing people to work, and that makes no sense. But here, we're at least allowing people to get out. And that's the whole point, is to allow people to get out. And I think this is the best type of welfare, or even government assistance, is giving them an education.
Okay, so, and I understand that, you're just wanting to get out of paying your college bills. I get it. Just playing. I really am just kidding, because I know that's not your motivation. But the thing that concerns me is, again, look at how all of these programs that you just referred to yourself as a spiderweb started. They started with the best of intentions. They started for all the right reasons. We wanted to make sure that below a certain line, there was a point where people couldn't fall any farther. But the thing that nobody ever wants to take into account, and you can see it all through this election cycle, and still nobody wants to take it into account, is human nature is not about doing the right thing. Things may start for the best of intentions, but somebody's going to warp it further and further down the line. That's exactly what's happened with all of these same programs that you're talking about. People have found ways to say, hey, vote for me and I'll make sure you get more free stuff. Vote for me and I'll increase your housing benefit. Vote for me and I'll increase this. So if we start handing out college education, the same thing is going to happen. They're going to find a way to warp it, to use it as control. And that's what scares me, is because we keep seeing this play out over and over and over again, and we keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again, because this time it's going to be different, because this time we're doing it for the right reasons. This time we're doing it to educate the masses. That may be what it's for. That may be what the intention is, but that is not what it's going to be 50 years down the road.
Well, I mean, if we look through the history of the U.S., we can see that there was, at one point, large free education, that if you got good grades in high school, you went off to go to college and it was free. And we didn't encourage people who couldn't go. They would go to trade school or just get a job. And I think that's how it should be. College is not for everybody, and it shouldn't be for everybody. But college, I mean, my teacher was just telling me the other day how she got to go to college for free.
Hang on, because you're getting ahead of me here. I want to try to make you understand something. If you make college completely free for anyone to go to a state-funded school, then it will become for everyone, because you're going to have the 4-year coasters. You're going to be like, hey, I'm not sure what I want to do with my life, so I'll go hang out at this college where they're going to pay for me to go hang out for a couple hours a day. Maybe I'll figure something out. Maybe I won't. But who cares? Because I don't have to pay for it. And that's the point I'm trying to get across. There will always be, number one, a segment of the population that abuses any system that's there to supposedly assist them. There's also going to be a segment of the population on the other side of the equation that always tries to find a way to control the systems that are in place to help those that need assistance. So this is the same thing that we keep watching play out over and over and over again. And yet we keep saying, well, if we keep throwing more money at the problem, eventually the problem's going to go away. No, it doesn't.
Well, I think there are many problems here, but I think the cost of college is outrageous. I think that other
but let's start looking at why the cost of college is outrageous. Look at the price increases in college programs since the government started getting involved in handing out free money for people to go to college. This is the same thing that always happens. When the government gets involved in trying to make things easier on the populace, those that are getting the funds from the government find ways to take advantage and increase the situation. The same thing happened with the railroad in the 1800s.
Well, that part I might not necessarily disagree with you on, but what I do disagree with you on is that the reason costs have risen so much is in part perhaps yes, government. Government also keeps it somewhat affordable for people, but...
Well, no. I think you're misunderstanding me. I'm not blaming the government for the price increases. That's not what I meant. What I'm saying is, as soon as the government said, hey, we're going to start offering these programs where we're going to, for disadvantaged families and low-income families, we're going to give them X amount of dollars to be able to go to college. Some idiot somewhere said, oh, look, if they're giving them that much money, that means we can raise our tuition that much more. And we have all of these different stupid degree programs that never should be part of colleges to begin with. I mean, you were just going through this. Have you gone through and looked at some of the degree programs that are being offered in college nowadays and how much money is being wasted on things like that? Why are those things even there? Because the funding is available. That's why. There are so many ways that we could attack this without making it the government's job to pay for education. The government-run education system that we have right now is a joke. So you want to take the same government that can't run the VA, you want to put them in charge of medical coverages for everybody. The same government that can't run education at the elementary, junior high, and high school levels, you want to put them in charge of college. I don't think that's how this gets fixed.
Well, I mean, I think there are many reasons why the VA doesn't work, and I think there are many reasons why...
But hang on. Because
I think that's a different argument.
No, actually it's not, because I want you to roll back about 3-4 years before Obamacare really got prevalent on the scene. Actually, I guess it's been a while longer than that now, because I keep forgetting we've already been dealing with this guy for 8 years. Can you tell I'm blocking out most of the last 4? But anyway, I want you to go back to pre-Obamacare, because pre-Obamacare, the Veterans Administration was the talking point for the Democratic Party as to why something like Obamacare would be able to work. Because look at all the great things they do through the VA. Look at how well it works. And then we found out years later, after we were sold the bill of goods, that they didn't know what the hell they were doing with it, and it's falling apart. If you look at our education system, it's exactly the same way now. So we want to take the education system that already doesn't work for a vast majority of the country and put the government in charge of helping to make sure that gets paid for by taking more of our money, which means at some point the government's going to get more control over that part of the education system, because anytime the government's giving you money, there are regulations involved. I don't like that.
Here's the thing, and if we want to get into a topic about Obamacare, we can, but I mean, in large part, there are many areas in which Obamacare has evidently worked, and many places where it needs work. Now, I think Obamacare does do a pretty good job at emulating, a free market economy that gives healthcare, but still makes it, feasible for everybody to get health insurance. But premiums are too high, and I think that is a problem that needs to be solved. I think drug costs, that needs to be addressed heavily and quickly. Let me give you an example. My dad actually went to the local CVS and went to go fill out his drug prescription, and they put in the wrong information. They forgot to put in his insurance card or whatever, and the cost of his drugs without his insurance card, which would have made it free, it was $225. So tell me how, a sick, elderly, impoverished, person, or just impoverished person in general, they don't have to be sick or elderly, can afford that. It's impossible. So that system that's in place right now is a hell of a lot better than the previous one, where somebody who couldn't get insurance would have to pay for that. Now, I'd like to go back to a day before insurance companies and let the free market handle it. I think that'd be much better. But I think everybody needs to be insured, or everybody needs healthcare, access to it. We cannot leave people out.
Hang on. You just touched on something that all of us that have been opposed to Obamacare have been saying all along. We don't need insurance companies. We haven't ever needed insurance companies. Having an insurance company step in between you and what you're paying for your medical coverages is like going to sit down, ordering a meal at a restaurant, eating the meal, enjoying it, being brought a check without ever knowing what you were going to be charged, and suddenly you have a $5,000 bill sitting in front of you because you didn't bother to ask them how much they were going to charge you for the steak. That is not how the free market is supposed to work. When the insurance companies started getting involved in things, that's when the free market started breaking down, because it wasn't free market anymore. There was an intermediary in the middle. So people didn't start paying attention. They stopped paying attention to what they were paying for healthcare. And case in point, before the health insurance industry really started taking off, you could actually go to the hospital for something as simple as a broken leg or a broken arm, wind up with x-rays, the cast, everything that you needed to get it done was about $75-$80. Now, granted, money was a lot more of a strong currency back then. The American dollar was, but the same things today would cost you $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 by the time it was all said and done. And a lot of it is because of the markup that goes on in the middle. And the same thing has been going on with the finance industry. I mean, in the 1950s, you could buy a car for a couple $100. Now I know I see cars that aren't even that great of cars that cost more than my house, because the finance industry is in the middle of it all. When you start letting the third parties in the middle, whether they're private sector third parties or government interference third parties, that's when things start breaking down, because nobody cares about the prices anymore, because somebody's going to step in and pay it for them, and all they have to do is either not paying anything at all or they pay a small sum. All we're doing now is trading one form of control for the other. We're still not really a free market anymore, because we have too many things in the middle that are causing the prices to go up.
I agree with you, though, 100%. And I don't disagree. But you need something for the people so that they don't fall behind. That's my issue.
But that's my point, though. How much easier would it be to get something just for the people that fell behind if we got all the third-party crap out of the way and you were able to look up online and see all the 20 hospitals that were near you and find the one that offered the lowest prices so that you could go to that one? And before anybody tells me I'm crazy, I know this is true because I've done the research. There are hospitals that I know of within 10 miles of each other that are charging 50 to 60% more than hospitals that are right around them, because nobody knows what the pricing is. We need to get the third parties out of the way and get the market back involved. That's how you would actually fix the healthcare industry, and it's also how you could fix education, because there wouldn't be all of these crazy freaking markups that nobody needs. I mean, I don't care who you are, and I've said the same thing when that stupid meme about Goodwill started going out, where the dude that supposedly the CEO of Goodwill makes almost $1 million a year, and it's supposed to be a nonprofit organization. If you're paying the person that's running your agency that much money, you're not nonprofit anymore. So the same thing should be held for all of these freaking universities that are paying the guys that run them millions of dollars a year. They don't need government money if they're paying somebody $1 million a year to run the damn thing. They should make that money that they're paying them go towards helping other people get educated. There are ways to fix the system without relying on the government to do it, and that's all we've been saying all along, but nobody wants to hear it because that's too hard.
Well, I mean, from what you are promising, it sounds like the perfect system. So, if that's the case, if you can ensure to me that nobody's going to get left behind, that everybody will get, the cheapest form, but the most effective form of healthcare or college or whatever it may be, then by all means, I agree. I don't disagree with the free market. I think that the free market works. I don't think we live in a capitalist society, unfortunately, anymore. I think that's a big problem, actually. And I don't think that we utilize the free market in many senses. But, if we can, then fine. Because, like how you say the healthcare system gets skewed, how welfare systems get skewed, and eventually it becomes, a behemoth of wasteful spending, I think so does, giant free market organizations. Look at insurance companies. They just become giant crony capitalist, suckers, vacuums that suck up more money than welfare programs.
Except, hang on a second, because now we're getting into the crux of it, because I don't believe that insurance companies are actually a part of the free market. Insurance companies are a bastardization of socialism. Everybody pays in a little bit of money in the event that they need to get something done later to make sure that the costs get absorbed by everybody else. That is not free market. That's never been free market. That's part of the problem. We have slowly, over the last 100 years, started stepping away from free market, and nobody was paying attention to it. Somebody came up with the idea for freaking car insurance. It says, hey, give me X amount of dollars, and then whenever your car breaks or whenever you get in a wreck, you'll have the money to pay for your car. Well, since nobody was having to absorb the cost directly for the car repairs anymore, all of a sudden the cost of car repairs started going through the roof. They started coming up with new and better, more expensive machinery to get the repairs done because they had the money, because they were charging more. So it's just this vicious cycle, and it's all got to do with the fact that it pretty much with any transaction in life anymore, there is a third party in the way. And as long as there's a third party in the way, you don't pay attention to what you're being charged anymore. How many people spend their lives racking up credit card bills, never really thinking about what they're charging until they're sitting there with a $10,000 bill at their feet and they don't even know how they got there because there was a third party in the way. And as long as they made their minimum payment, who cares? When they run out of credit, they just go get another one and then they run it up. And then there's another $20,000 debt. That's the problem. We have stopped doing the things that our grandfathers and our great-grandfathers did. And we figured out that you can't, with the way society is designed today, you cannot live within your means. You can't, because everything requires financing. I just signed my life away to buy a house. I'm 42 years old. The damn thing won't even be paid for till I'm dead.
Unless you become a famous radio host and then bring me along with you, and then,
Well, from your lips to somebody's ears, because I'm sure trying, and I'm okay. I'm not even having that conversation today. It's been a really long couple of weeks.
How's the Texas station going?
Remember how I said I didn't want to have that conversation? Let's just say everything with Texas right now is on hold.
All right. Well, I'm sure it'll all work out. I mean, look. I wanted to actually send you an article, but I guess it wasn't obviously a good time to send it to you. But remember how somebody said that you were the next Rush Limbaugh?
Yep.
Yeah, so apparently Rush Limbaugh's company is going bankrupt, and so is iHeartRadio, and he has nowhere to go. I hope that's not you.
No. Well, I mean, see, that concerns me for a couple of different reasons. One, there's been some writing on the wall now for a while about the fact that if something doesn't change soon, everything's going to start moving towards digital, which is why we started everything out digitally. I mean, most everything we do started out on the internet. We have a few shows now that are offered terrestrially. We are trying to get them brokered, but the same thing that is impacting those bigger guys is the same thing that's impacting us smaller guys. It's really hard to find ad revenue right now. And as a matter of fact, it's nearly impossible, because even the big guys are struggling. So you can imagine how hard it is for a startup. I've been knocking on doors for months, and every time I think we get close, somebody says, yeah, you're just not quite big enough yet. I'm like, well, I can't really get any bigger without your help. So that's why I'm coming to you to say, help me monetize a little bit, and then I can take that, and we can grow. And nobody's willing to do that. And it's just frustrating because there's not enough time in the day to work a 40-hour-a-week job to raise the 3 kids that are still in my home and try to do all of this. And every time I think we're getting somewhere, somebody says, yeah, we were interested, but we looked at it and we just don't think you're quite there yet. Give us a call back when you pick up another couple stations or your network gets a little bigger. And I'm like, I really can't do that without money, and I'm trying not to sign more of yet my limited life supply away to make this happen. So we're back to the whole third-party argument again, because at this point, the only way that I could get this off the ground is if I basically build up the company profile just a little bit more, go in there, ask somebody for some money so that we could start brokering for some stuff and some airtime, and then all of a sudden I can come back to these sponsors that said no and say, hey, we're in 6 more markets now, and then they'll say yes, but then everything that I'm making from them goes to pay back the loan that started all of this in the first place.
I think, and here's my crazy point of view, is that you make a YouTube channel as if I wanted to way back when, and that's how you do it. Because people would be much more willing, I believe, to advertise on YouTube. And I don't know, how different could it be if it was just you with a headset, you know, at a table being filmed, yelling, like Rush Limbaugh?
Well, we've actually been working on that. We figured out a way to integrate there's a Google Hangouts feature, I think is what it's called, that will actually, with a webcam, it will actually, like say right now, you and I, if we both had webcams on when we're talking and we were routing it through the Google Voice to do the recording portion, because it could be open over here and it does actually have webcam access, it would actually change back and forth. When I was talking, it would show my picture. When you were talking, it would show your picture. And that's one of the things that we're working on now, is getting that done so that we can start porting things over to YouTube without it just being the little picture of the Spreaker logo. Because, you know, that's not, I mean, that's there. We already have the YouTube channel because Spreaker actually updates to the company YouTube channel. But it's not really holding any interest because it's basically the same thing that they can do now. But Spreaker also does allow you to integrate with a webcam. So if we can figure out how to get all that done and get it routed through the Google Voice thing, then we may actually start doing video, as much as people are going to wish I would turn mine off when they get through this faith. Just saying.
And then they'll see mine and they'll be like, oh, wow.
Yeah, he's not modest at all, folks. No, not at all. All right, we really do have to take a break. I didn't realize we were already past the bottom of the hour. We'll be right back here in just a minute, folks. You are listening to Finding Common Ground. I am Rick Robinson, and the narcissistic one in Jersey is Mr. Bryce Robbins.
They say we offer simple answers to complex problems. Well, perhaps there is a simple answer.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130...
It's common ground. It's common ground. It's common ground. It's common ground.
The internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Whoa! Good God, y'all! What is it good for? Absolutely! Let's get started again.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-513-6154. That's 1-800-513-6154. Again, 1-800-513-6154. Call now.
Wondering why you're up early with us on a Sunday morning making a cocktail? News lately got you drinking? Hung over from the mainstream media by Sunday? We are, and we got you covered.
We sure do. We got your hangover cure for those weekly news blues. So sit back, top off your mimosa, and add some Baileys to that coffee.
Take a match to your copy of the New York Times. Light, funny, and oh yeah, news with booze.
And a lot of laughter.
Welcome to Bloody Marys and Broadsheets.
The staff of K98 Talk and the Spark Radio Network is proud to announce that our very own Rowdy Rick Robinson has been selected as one of the top conservative talk show hosts in the nation for his program America Off the Rail. Again, congratulations to Rowdy Rick Robinson for a job well done and another reason to stay connected to K98 Talk and the Spark Radio Network.
Our military service members volunteer to protect us in the most dangerous places around the world. They step up. And when they are severely ill or injured, returning to their families is only the beginning of their long road home. Wounded Warrior Project provides these brave men and women whatever they need to continue their fight for independence at no cost for life. So now it's time for a grateful nation to step up. Join us at findwwp.org.
It's common ground. It's common ground. It's common ground. It's common ground.
All right, folks, we are back. We are live. This is Finding Common Ground, and we are already into the last half of the show. Now, last week, before I wound up calling Bryce and telling him it wasn't going to happen because the wife took off and we had 2 acres worth of trees to clear, we were going to talk about the North Carolina bathroom situation. I'm pretty sure we probably have a little bit different perspective, but I think we may actually find a couple of things we agree on in there. Why don't you go ahead and start off? I've been doing a lot of the talking on that first half.
All right, sounds good. Well, the North Carolina bathroom situation, it is a shit show, but I am pretty, respective of the other side's views. And here's the thing. Governor, Pat McCrory, signed over a rather bigoted bathroom bill that requires you to show identification, or it has to be on your birth certificate of your gender. And people are saying, from the opposing viewpoint of mine, that if we allow, men into women's bathrooms, then your daughter's going to get raped. That's the type of thing that's coming from Ted Cruz's mouth. But the problem is that, no, that's not what's happening. It's like the same argument with the migrants coming from Syria. Oh, if we let them in, everyone's going to get there's going to be terrorist attacks everywhere. But that hasn't even really happened. But that might be a different scale. I don't really want to jump those two arguments. My argument here is that if a man becomes a woman, dresses as a woman, identifies as a woman, then that person is a woman. If it is a man who dresses like, if it is a woman who dresses like a man, who looks like a man, who sounds like a man, then let her use the man's bathroom. Now, here's the difference, though. I mean, you can see pictures all the time of women who have, taken the hormones, taken the drugs, whatever it may be, to become manly. I think it would be rather uncomfortable for a woman to be going to a bathroom and this macho man is standing next to her because she used to be a woman.
Oh, I so wish you were going to say, I wish I knew you were going to say macho twice, because I so would have queued up the Village People.
I hate you so much. I hate you. But the point here is ultimately that I don't know. I just think it's ridiculous. Now, there's this recent video, going around of this lesbian who's dressed as a man, and she's getting kicked out of the bathroom and being asked for ID. Now, I don't know why that went so big. I didn't really understand it, to be quite honest. It was a little confusing. It all happened very quickly, so I don't really... If you know about that, by all means. But I'll say one last thing. That... Look up transgender people. And look up a transgender man who used to be a woman. And under North Carolina law, these men are going to have to use the women's bathroom. And vice versa. So if these people don't want that, then let them go. They're just taking a piss. Like, I don't know. What's your thoughts, Rick? I know you disagree.
It's a good thing we're not on the FCC because you just broke 2 of their rules in like 2 minutes, but that's okay.
You did?
Yes.
What did I do?
You said shit and piss. Neither of those are allowed on FCC regulated radio.
Piss isn't allowed?
Nope.
Then I don't want to be on the FCC.
One of the words you cannot say. I actually almost got yelled at by the director over at WNJC because I'd forgotten that I said it on an episode that I sent over, and I'm frantically researching it the morning that I knew the show was going to air because I was like, did I say something I shouldn't have? So I went back and I looked and I looked and I looked, and I'm like, dude, everybody uses that in conversation now. But sure enough, it's one of the, I think it's actually down, it used to be like 7 words you can't say. I think it's actually down to 5 now, but that is still one of them. But anyway, so where we're going to disagree slightly, and this is going to sound a little biased, but I'm just going to give everybody my opinion. So here's the thing. From the female to male perspective, it's a lot easier to do. And it's easy to take the hormones, and it's easy for a woman to actually start looking more manly and being able to grow the facial hair and things like that.
Sorry.
If they go to all of that trouble, and you get to the point where from the outside you can't tell them apart anymore, then they probably should be allowed to go into whichever bathroom they most reasonably resemble. But I will say that my hard stance on all of it, honestly, though, is if the plumbing doesn't match what you look like on the outside, that's where I start having a problem. But more so,
how do you find out? What do you do? A penis scan? You say,
no, I mean, come on, look. You can be facetious all you want, but it's no different than Caitlyn Jenner. She or he still has the twig and berries, and yet he's been legally designated as a woman. That's, first of all, not supposed to happen. By federal law, whatever your gender is on your birth certificate is what you're supposed to be stuck with for life. That's the way it's always been. I know this because I used to work in the airline industry, and I used to actually have to ask the question, what is your gender as it appears on your ID for the folks that were transgendered, because of the fact that by federal law, you cannot change your gender. So there's one problem that I have with that. The other problem that I have with that is if the plumbing, and this again is more from the male to female perspective, because if you're throwing a fucking dress on, since we're not FCC regulated, I figure why the hell not. If you're throwing a dress on just because, and throwing lipstick on, that doesn't make you a woman. If you've had the surgery, then by all means, use whatever bathroom meets your new gender. But as long as you've got the twig and berries, then no, you shouldn't be allowed to go into a woman's bathroom. That's my personal opinion on it.
No, yeah, the problem is, did you see Caitlyn Jenner's video of her using the Trump bathroom?
Yes, I did. And as far as I'm concerned, the sick freak shouldn't have been in a woman's bathroom.
You know, the problem here is that no one's looking to bother anybody. They're just looking to be comfortable. And if she walked into a man's
hang on
bathroom,
a second. Have you done the research on the guy that actually started the whole brouhaha over the North Carolina bathroom issue, who happens to be a registered sex offender?
You're going to have to send me the link for that, but I've not heard that at all.
I'll send it to you later. It's there. We've been talking about it for the 2 weeks you've been off.
Look, here's the thing. The fact of the matter is that you're just using the bathroom. And if a man feels that he's a woman, or a woman feels that he's a man, who gives a flying F? Just go to the bathroom.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you did about 4 months ago on your own damn show.
What do you mean?
When you had the guest on that was talking about making all the changes to the bathrooms.
No, my problem is making a designated transgender bathroom. That's something that some people want, and I think that's lunacy, because that's not only segregation, but that's also accommodating people who are, you know, not accepting of this transgender way of life. We are living in a time where people are finally feeling comfortable enough to come out about themselves, whether they're gay, bisexual, homosexual, transgender, whatever it is. I don't really like to call them those names and label everything. I just call it sexual. But the fact of the matter is that we're living in a time where people are coming forward. Now, some people will call this, oh, we're being so PC, this and that. And yes, I think the name calling, the labeling is. But we can't disregard the fact that these people feel this way. And it's not just 5
My
people.
God, are you still talking?
It's millions of people who feel this way. So, and look at all the business.
Just when I think you've said the stupidest thing ever, you keep talking.
Not the stupidest thing ever. Reason. Because look at all the money that's leaving North Carolina.
Shit, Negro. That's all you had to say.
Let's start talking about the money, man. No, I'm just playing.
Sure, though. Look at all the money that's leaving. Because people won't stand for this crap.
Okay, but see, here's my perspective on this. Because of all the money that's leaving North Carolina, because this goes back to the concert providers and everybody else. So let me see if I understand this correctly. They are allowed to not provide a service based on their personal beliefs, but a cake baker is not allowed to provide a service based on their personal beliefs.
I thought you were going to say that, and I actually prepared a good argument for that. The difference is, and I want
here comes the justification.
Playing,
justification in 3, 2, 1.
Without an audio clip. Here's the difference. In one case, you're discriminating against people because of their way of life, through no fault of their own, because that's how their genetics worked. I believe it's genetics. I don't think that you choose to be that way.
I don't really think so.
So hang on. It's blatant discrimination, and we could go back to a time where people decided not to serve African Americans, or they decided not to serve Jews, and they said, "Oh, this is our lifestyle choice." And you know what? I fully stand by the LGBTQ community, because this happened to my people not too long ago, where they said, "Oh, Jews, you got to use the back." Hank Greenberg, when he was playing I think it was in Florida or San Francisco, had to stay in a different hotel than the Detroit Tigers, and the Detroit Tigers stuck by him, and they refused to give their business to that hotel. Because, why? Because they didn't want to serve a Jewish person. They said he had to stay at the hotel down the block, so the whole team stayed down the block. And that, I think, is wonderful. That's boycotting. It's what Martin Luther King did with the buses. I mean, yes, we are disagreeing with their point of view, because their point of view is not the inclusive one. It's not the one that makes sense.
So hang on a second. So you're disagreeing. Let's just call a spade here. You're disagreeing with their point of view because from your point of view, their point of view is wrong.
I think historically speaking, it's wrong for everybody.
No. Just come out and say it. Quit qualifying it. Just tell them that you agree with the folks that are boycotting North Carolina because you think that point of view is wrong.
I think it's freedom of speech, yeah.
So someone who thinks that...
Nobody's discriminating against anybody.
Bullshit, they're not discriminating. How many people didn't make money that day because that asshole decided he didn't want to hold a concert there? How many people lost out on revenue from the tickets? There was all kinds of discrimination going on there, but nobody wants to talk about it because this is the good kind of discrimination because we're teaching these bigots a lesson.
Yeah, they are fucking bigots. I mean, what do you think the purpose of this
so
law is?
What? Because we can't teach children basic biology anymore, or we're bigots? I mean, my God, you were born with a penis. You know which bathroom you should go into unless you had the damn thing chopped off.
No, that's ridiculous.
No, it's not. It's basic fucking plumbing.
It's not. Your brain is telling you that you're a different person. You know how much psychological damage you must
So fine, if your brain is telling you that you're a different fucking person, then go have the damn surgery that makes you a different fucking person on the outside too. Otherwise, quit bitching.
if you cover it under healthcare, then fine, by all means. But look, how is a poor
So I'm
person
supposed to pay for the fact that you feel like you were born differently? No, fuck you. If you think you were born differently, then by all means, you do what the rest of us do, and you work to make the changes. And when you've made the changes, then I don't give a damn what bathroom you go into. But until you do, sit down and shut up.
The fact of the matter is that there are people so young that they can't even get the surgery yet because they haven't even gone through puberty yet. So how are we going to tell?
Then again, until your plumbing matches, use the bathroom that the plumbing matches. I don't understand why this is such a problem. It is
because
basic
it would be weird
biology.
If a woman went into a man's bathroom, or if a man went into a woman's bathroom who literally look like the opposite gender, who do not.
You just talked about the fact of the younger ones who can't have the surgery because they haven't gone through puberty yet. They don't look like much of anything, so they should be using the bathroom that matches their gender. For the adults who have had the surgery, then by all means, please use whichever bathroom you feel more comfortable in. But until you do, quit whining.
I know some very young people who, you would be surprised, look like women, look like men, are not women. And the fact of the matter is, the fact that they have to change in a certain locker room, I'm glad that my school there are a couple transgender kids, allows them to change in the opposite gender's bathroom because they resemble that gender, or it makes them comfortable. Why can't we just get over the fact that we are different genders?
For the same reason that your side wants to ban all guns, because if it saves one child's life.
We're not trying to ban all guns. The government's never tried to ban all guns. And that's a
No, I didn't say a damn thing about the government. You know as well as I do, there's a part of your party that wants to remove every single gun from the planet, and you've said so yourself.
That's a straw man argument.
No, it's not. It's the same argument they use for gun control, because we need more gun control because if it saves one child's life. My side can make the same argument about the bathroom and the pedophile, because, hey, if it keeps one kid from being raped, why the hell not?
Right. Back in the good old days when, we had white bathrooms and black bathrooms, we didn't want to integrate them because some nigger might, come and molest my white daughter. Like, that's the type of mentality we used to have. Transgender people are not looking to rape people.
No. But the people that are pretending to be transgendered people in the hopes of being able to go into a bathroom certainly the fuck are. So what are we supposed to do about them, sir?
Oh, so we punish the transgenders.
Hey, wait a minute. Wait, hang on. Back up the train just a second, because you just specifically said it was okay to punish an entire group of people for other people's choices. So why is one okay and not the other?
That's not what I'm saying. The entire group of people that's discriminating and making these laws.
No, wait, hang on. How is it a whole group of people when it was a state legislature that passed that law? You don't even know how many people in North Carolina don't want that law. But the whole freaking state's being punished because of something that a governor did.
But don't you recall that this was actually a Charlotte ordinance? It was in the city of Charlotte that wanted this. And the day it passed, the state had an emergency session to shut it down. How is that representation coming from the Republican who wants, state governments to have more control? This is the most basic form of democracy in government. Charlotte wanted it. Charlotte passed it with flashing colors, and the state government immediately shut it down. If this was a state government doing it and the federal government shut it down, and it was about something else, of course, or about gun control, right? Then Republicans would be having, I hate it. Let's reverse it.
Hang on a second. Hey. Apples and oranges, because the federal constitution is a lot different than their state constitution. I don't know if their state government violated their constitution or not, because I don't know enough about their freaking constitution. But the reason why we would be up in arms if the federal government did it after a state did something would be exactly because of the 10th Amendment. I don't know if their state constitution has anything like that or not, so I don't know if what they did was illegal. That's not the fucking point. The point is, you keep talking about all these different ways where it's okay to punish an entire group of people because of something that you don't agree with. I don't think that someone who hasn't had a reassignment surgery should be able to randomly pick which bathroom they go into to be able to protect from the people that want to pretend to be that particular gender just to go in there and spy on some stupid little kid.
You know what the problem is, though? People will do that now if they want to, right? We don't have all these transgender bathrooms or these, go use whatever bathroom you want lost really yet. But you know what? There are still perverts who are doing it. It's not.
So we're going to make it easier for them?
We're not going to make it easier for them.
Bullshit. Hang on. By your logic, by your own statement when we started this argument, if you're wearing lipstick and a dress, you should be able to go into a women's bathroom. Do you know how many perverts I have busted over the years who would kill themselves to put on lipstick and a dress to be able to go hang out with some little girls in a bathroom? That's my problem.
Why can't they do that now?
They do, jackass. That's why laws like this are being created.
Stop it or contain it, or if they could do it now, I don't see the problem here. We're just letting people use the bathroom. If I wanted to be a pedophile and dress up like a woman and go spy on women in the bathroom, I could do that now.
No. Well, yeah, you can, because there's no law in your state stating if you don't have a penis, you shouldn't be going into a woman's bathroom. Or if
you're not. It's not the TSA. They're not going to be checking the penis scanner to see. Oh, all right, you're clear. Go use the bathroom. Like, that's not how it works.
Except you're not understanding the point, genius. No. From a law enforcement perspective, you're not understanding the point. This is no different than a seatbelt law. It gives them a starting point when they figure out that people are doing things they shouldn't be doing in the bathroom. It gives them something that they can charge them with to go see whatever else they can find because of the people that are going to be abusing the system. It's a starting point. As far as I'm concerned, the government shouldn't be telling me to wear a seatbelt, but I still got to wear the damn thing. That's discrimination in my book, but everybody's fine with that one because it may or may not save a life, including mine. I still have a problem with it. So I understand exactly what it is that you're...
It's not even against the law to use the opposite sex's bathroom in most states. It'll be like a misdemeanor or disrupting the public or whatever.
That's my point. This law in North Carolina gives them a foothold to be able to bring charges for someone who is doing something in a bathroom that they legally shouldn't have been allowed to be in the first place. That's my whole point. That's what I'm saying. From one point, you're not seeing this from the law enforcement perspective. This is no different than a seatbelt law. The seatbelt law wasn't passed for safety. I understand that's the thing that everybody uses it for, and if it saves one life, by God, Rick, everybody should have to wear their seatbelt. Do you know why the seatbelt law was passed, and do you know why now? Because when it first started, to get everybody used to it, it wasn't something that you could be pulled over for if you didn't have your seatbelt on. But it was enough for them to look and see if you had your seatbelt on, and then they waited to see if you did something else. Now, and in pretty much every state in the union, if you're driving without your seatbelt, they can pull you over. Guess what? Once they pull you over, if you have anything in plain view, they can then initiate a search. This isn't about safety. It's about regulations.
Well, only because one of my best friend's grandfathers was one of the reasons that this seatbelt bill was signed into law. I might disagree with you there.
No, I didn't say they didn't have a perfectly good justification, but I'm telling you again, from a law enforcement perspective, that may have been the reason why they gave everybody that it was passing in all these states, because of all these people that were injured because of seatbelts, died because of seatbelts. But from somebody who had to sit through the briefings, that wasn't what it was being used for. It was a foot in the door.
Look, I just want to close up this argument about the North Carolina and give my final point of view here. One, and I have a couple points. One, if I'm a pervert, I can go to the woman's bathroom right now. Two, it's blatant discrimination because look at it in the past. We used to say no blacks, no Jews could, use this hotel, could use this bathroom, could use this water fountain.
So it's discrimination to tell a guy who has a penis that he shouldn't go into the woman's bathroom.
No, but they are not men. They are
bullshit.
Women.
If you have a penis, then biologically you are a man. I don't give a damn what brain signals your body is sending you. If you have to hold something to take a piss, then you are a man. And until you remedy that situation, you shouldn't be allowed to go into any bathroom other than the one that matches your plumbing.
Genetic dysfunctions that perhaps these people actually were genetically, given a mistake. That the human body doesn't make mistakes. I mean, you don't think that these people were actually... If you feel that you're a woman, maybe when you were in that womb, you were supposed to be a woman and something happened. I mean, that sounds likely. My next point here, and I'm just going to give 2 more points here, is that...
No, you're going to give about 30 seconds of points because otherwise we're going to be late for your show.
the amount of revenue that they're losing over this bill is ridiculous, and I'll just leave it there.
All right. Well, again, as usual, folks, not much finding common ground on the bathroom issue because, again, I'm not opposed to teaching people basic biology. I think it's stupid that we have to say, well, it doesn't really matter if you were born with a penis. You should be able to go into whichever bathroom you feel more comfortable with. No, hell with that. If you feel like you should have been born a woman, then please, by all means, take whatever steps you need to make sure that you actually are physically a woman, and then I don't have a problem. Other than that, we are out because we are out of time, and I got to make room for this one to be able to go expound exponentially on his liberal views, and I'm going to go find my earplugs. We're out, folks. Back next week.
They say we offer simple answers to complex problems. But perhaps there is a simple answer. Not an easy answer, but simple.